Fresh out of Victory Road, we head up the stairs to the big building on the hill. Welcome to the Indigo Plateau, our last stop on the main goal of the game. Entering the building, we start off by heading to the left. We're going to talk to the super nerd in the corner who's going to offer us a trade for an Alolan Exeggutor. Next up, we're going to be buying a couple things from the shop. Here we're going to stock up on some helpful items to aid us through the challenge ahead. I recommend full restores for healing and revives for the obvious reason, along with a couple full heals just in case you want to get rid of some status effects without having to heal your Pokemon up and use a full restore. Next, we're going to head to the right and get the nurse to heal our Pokemon from our trip through Victory Road. Next up is the move tutor in the far right. She's going to teach us any move previously known by our Pokemon in exchange for a heart scale, which is kind of useful here. With all of this out of the way, we begin our challenge to beat the Elite Four. So just head through the big doorway at the top of the room, and we'll get started. First up, we have the Ice Master Lorelei. Try not to use any Pokemon with a flying, ground, grass, or dragon typing, just to avoid any weaknesses there. And luckily for us, every Pokemon she has is also a water typing, except for Jinx, which is actually a psychic dual type. So with that information, I'm going to be using my Alolan Raichu for most of this battle, just for the water typing, because the electric moves will kind of shred through that. And then once we get to Jinx, we can always switch to our Magmar for a fire type effectiveness on the ice typing. This battle's pretty straightforward, and after finishing off with her, it's probably a good idea to use some items if you need to heal up your Pokemon or revive anything, but if not, we can go ahead and head into the next room. Now, in the second room, we face the Fighting type Master Bruno. With the Fighting type moves, we want to try to keep away from anything normal, rock, ice, or dark type. This is pretty much going to be the same situation as Lorelei, where all the Pokemon except one are Fighting type, and the odd one out here is going to be Onix. For the type advantage here, we're going to be going for anything with a Flying, Psychic, or Fairy type move. Just to keep things simple, I'm going to use my Alolan Raichu again, because it has Psychic for all the Fighting type, and then I can use Brick Break against the Onix. Finishing off Bruno, we're going to heal our Pokemon up and revive anything, just as we would with any other battle, and then we're going to move on to the next room. Up next, we have the Poison Master Agatha. For this one, we're going to be trying to avoid any Grass or Fairy type Pokemon. Surprisingly enough, Agatha does a really good job about keeping all of her Pokemon Poison type, so we can really just use any Psychic or Ground type move to kind of clear things up. I used Psychic on everything except for Golbat, and with that I just used Thunderbolt because I had the type coverage for it. And now that we've beat all of her Pokemon, she's going to award us with a little bit of money and open the door to the next room. Make sure to once again go ahead and heal up all your Pokemon if needed. Entering the next room, we have the Not-So-Dragon type Master Lance. For Lance, I definitely recommend bringing in an electric type Pokemon, as all of his Pokemon have flying type except for Seadra, which is just purely water. With that being said, you pretty much already know who I'm going to be using for the whole battle. Lance has a little bit more type coverage than most of the other trainers, so kind of watch out here and there, and his Pokemon are quite high leveled compared to some of the other ones, so. Other than using electric type moves for everything in his party, once you get to Dragonite, you can use an ice type Pokemon or just an ice type move on a Pokemon to kind of one-hit KO if you can. But for the most part, everything's pretty straightforward with this. So upon beating him, he's going to award you some more money, and then we're going to see Professor Oak talk to us a little bit about fighting the champion. Learning that our rival has become the champion, we head through the door and challenge him to a battle. Now, this is going to be the most challenging battle we've had so far because his team is quite balanced, so we can't just use our Raichu for most of this. But with that being said, he's automatically going to lead off with his Pidgeotto with a Mega Evolution, so we're going to start with Raichu anyway and electrify him. Once you've defeated the Pidgeot, he's going to basically try to type coverage you and send out whatever's good against your Pokemon, so here's a few tips on fighting each individual Pokemon. His Vileplume is easily countered by anything Psychic, Flying, Ice, or Fire, so I used Magmar for this. For Slowbro, I recommend anything Dark, Electric, Bug, Grass, or Ghost. Marowak has 3 different weaknesses, but because he uses Fire Punch on Ice-type Pokemon, I recommend using Water. Depending on which game you're using, he's either going to have a Raichu, or for me, he had Jolteon. Just use a nice Ground-type move. My Rhydon pretty much did all the work there. And for me, Rapidash was last, and so it's pretty straightforward. Just use any sort of water-type moves. Luckily for me, I didn't kill him, but he killed himself off the recoil, so that worked out pretty well, I guess. Once we've defeated our rival, we're once again greeted by Professor Oak, who's going to share a few words with us and take us to the Hall of Fame. Once here, it's going to scan all of our Pokemon into the Hall of Fame and congratulate us on becoming the champion. After this, we're greeted by the credits, letting us know that we've officially finished the game. After the credits, we arrive back at our home in Pallet Town. Our rival then comes up the stairs and tells us that there's an extremely strong Pokemon near Cerulean City that we need to go check out. That's pretty much going to be it for this guide on Indigo Plateau, but be sure to check out some of my other Pokemon Let's Go videos, and thanks for watching. Also, be sure to subscribe, and you'll see some of my videos in the future. Thanks for watching, everybody.